She is the Sorcerer Supreme now, so congratulations to her. But that's where the issue ends.
Well, I feel like you can congratulate people if they want something. I think she took it. Right?
Well, I mean, kind of everyone takes it. Strange isn't really that good with it, so.
Yeah. I don't get down in the magic business, but it seemed like he never has that.
If there's one thing he's going to do, it's lose the Sorcerer Supreme title. But nonetheless, like, I thought it was a really good issue.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of another relaunch. I'm going to be myself this week still. I am LZ.
There's nothing better than to be yourself. I tell people that all the time. I am Keenan. Hello, everyone.
Yes. What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. It's this week. I felt like I went through a time warp. I don't know what was going on. It was happening very, very slowly, but we did make it through. I've been keeping myself busy. I started watching this Japanese show on Netflix called The Boyfriend. It's about these gay Japanese boys all living in the house trying to find love and stuff like that. Season 2 actually just came out recently, and I saw some clips of it, and I was like, oh, this looks cute. And so I started back from season 1. It's good. It's messy. The gays are messy everywhere. It's just kind of like in them, but it's still a good show. And then when I'm not watching that, I've also been watching the James Bond collection. They have all the movies on Netflix as well. And so I have that 50th anniversary box set, actually. I'm a huge James Bond fan. I don't know if anybody, I don't think I've ever talked about that on here.
You haven't?
Yeah, I'm a huge James Bond fan. And so I've seen the majority of the movies, but there are a few gaps. So I'm just watching them all from the very beginning until the most recent one. So I actually I just watched George Lazenby's movie, and I just got to Diamonds Are Forever, where Sean Connery comes back, and then that's his last one. And then we'll move on to Roger Moore, which is a really personal favorite era of mine. So I'm excited to see if it still holds up from the last time I've seen a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. The people learning more about you and your James Bond. I love that.
I will be ranking them also as well, at some point in time. I've already kind of let the people know I think I'm going to have some unpopular opinions about Sean Connery as James Bond. So just be ready for that.
Freaking not sure. You know where that come from? Did I make that up?
You're right. Yes.
Not stir.
But that's been my week. How are you?
I am great, actually. The week itself has been not too bad at work or whatever. So I've been pretty fine.
We love that.
Weather out here is fantastic. Sorry to everybody across other areas and other states where it's freezing cold. I know y'all got ice and all that kind of stuff.
We had 30.
It's 80 degrees here.
Oh, that sounds nice. I do remember our 80-degree winters. Last year, those were very nice. But this year, we definitely got a little bit of snow. But I don't think it's going to snow again. We had the snow once. We had the snow concrete. It's been really crazy. People have been stacking it up in front of the speed cameras. So that's been really fun to see. And they've been making igloos and things in the streets. It's finally stopped being below freezing. I think it was 36 degrees at one point this week, which honestly, let me tell you, you know how they always talk about white people wearing shorts in the winter? I think I finally got it. Because after dealing with negative 10 degrees for the last 2 weeks, coming to 36 degrees, I was in my coat sweating. I was I'm hot.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I had to open the jacket up. So I was oh, this is probably why people be wearing shorts in the winter, because they just came from Nebraska, where it's 2 degrees on a regular. Or one of the Dakotas.
Yeah.
South, north. I don't know what happens there.
I don't really need to be honest. I'm good on that.
I don't think we'll see too many people that we can relate
to. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get right into the news and updates of the week. So there's been a lot that's going on since, the last time we did this. So we kind of wanted to do a bit of a catching up, a touch base on everything that's been going on and see how, we've been reacting to things. You guys definitely let us know what you think about the stuff that's been happening. how you feel. Let's start with the MCU. Now, they had all them chairs sitting out there, filming them chairs, letting us know that those actors were coming for Doomsday, as if they couldn't just like tell us that. And what's crazy though is the people still tuned in. They had those chairs. It was like a live stream of just chairs. And they like announced one like actor like every hour. Like people still tuned in.
And still nobody from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, did they ever make that canon?
They should have.
They say it was?
I felt like they did in, what's that show that was on Netflix with them people in the Iron Fist Defenders? Kristen Ritter.
Oh.
And them. I feel like they did some things in those Defender series that was like referencing the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. I don't know. I haven't seen them in a very long time. I probably have to go back and watch. But I do feel like that was a big thing at the time. I remember because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans were like, oh my God, we're finally being talked about in the MCU. We're canon, which they need to bring canon so we can have Daisy. That's really all I care about.
Oh my God. Why are you so obsessed with that Quake lady?
And then also, there were people from the MCU that were in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. So they obviously had to be canon. Nick Fury showed up. Sif showed up.
That first season. But have they ever mentioned anything in the movies about
Who cares about the movies? They suck.
Clearly, the people watching them damn chairs did because there were millions of people watching.
the people in the movies, they want the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They want Daisy. I'm sorry. I don't know what your beef with Daisy
They do.
is. Like, she's the girl.
I just don't get it.
I don't know what
I just don't get it.
The people want Daisy. They wanted her in Secret Invasion. They probably would have helped improve that as well. They wanted her. They want her everywhere. She's just the doll. And Mockingbird. I would like to see her come over too. Adrian Paleggi is a really good casting choice. I'm sad to see her wasted.
It's not too late to kind of bring her back. You know, I'm sure they're going to be trying to do some kind of West Coast Avengers thing now with, you know, the hit they have on their hands is Wonder Man. They're probably going to want to do more of that. I'm sure they can bring Mockingbird back. They won't ever have her related to Hawkeye, which would be better for her probably. So,
yeah.
Unless they recast him. Do you think that they're going to recast these characters?
Oh, probably. I saw a tweet that was talking about like how the MCU has officially like matched the comics where they have like built out all these stories and like introduced all these characters and done all this stuff, and now they're going to completely just like forget all of that and they're going to like recast and just redo the stories over again.
Yeah, they're giving them the full experience.
We got it.
I think that's wild. I am curious if they're going to recast those OG Avengers characters because obviously they've been building up the stuff with Doomsday coming. Secret Wars is around the corner. They've announced, you know, all those people with those chairs, but clearly they're trying to do some kind of like, you know, multiversal restructuring per Secret Wars. At least that's what I assume they're trying to do. Bring all the toys together in Secret Wars, you know, keep who you're going to keep, recast,
and like
do all of that.
Show people just kind of like how they did it. What was Deadpool and Wolverine, where they show like all the different Logans and things like that. Which I'm not gonna lie, I will not be mad if they do that for some X-Men characters because I do want to see Jodie Turner-Smith as Storm. So like if they can kind of weave that in, I would be okay.
I wouldn't be mad at her as Storm.
I would not be mad at her
full time. You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather them just let Halle do this during this whole Secret Wars thing, but then use Jodie for after.
Well, I would prefer that as well. However, with the rumors of Sadie Sink being Jean Grey, I kind of want Storm to also be around that same age range. I would prefer all of the X-Men to be around the same age range as opposed to like 23-year-old Jean Grey and 40-year-old Storm. You know, she's already got like the mom of the X-Men type of thing going on. And I feel like a lot of people have tried to break free of that. And a lot of people don't like it, especially her fans. And like with her series going on, I feel like that's also kind of breaking the mold for her. So like, I would like to keep that trend going.
If they do end up giving this, what's the girl's name? Jodie what? Is that her?
Turner Smith.
No, not her. What's Jean? The young Jean. Sadie. If they do end up making her Jean, my pick for Storm is still Laura Kairiki. Very, really, really, really pretty actress. She's Kenyan American. So she looks like a young Jean. If they go young, if they were to go older, I think Jodie would be fantastic.
Yeah. Jodie would be absolutely amazing. Just like super great, stunning, like bone structure, face, body, presence. Act like she could definitely do it. But again, if Sadie is Jane, I kind of want them all to be around the same age. Although I'm not gonna lie, I'm still low key on the like fake out in that Sadie might be Typhoid Mary.
You know what? I want everyone to remember this. Everyone out there listening, remember this, and we'll come back to it. Y'all can clock King if he was right or wrong, but he's been really holding true to this.
I do
this whole thing.
But it's like, even think about like in the comic books when they do stuff with Typhoid Mary a lot, they always play around and pretend like she's Jean. They did it during the Avengers Initiative days when they were had her as like mutants. She was like Mutant Zero or something like that, and they made sure to let you know that like, oh, she had telepathy, she had telekinesis, she was using the fire insignia, like
pyrokinesis too. Yeah,
they was like trying to really make you think like, oh, this was Jean, and she came back, she had the red hair. So it's like, it can do it. And then it's just like Jean being introduced in the Spider-Man movie. Like, why are we doing that? Being
that's kind of wild, yeah.
Like, why are we doing that? So I really kind of like am still on the Typhoid Mary train. Like, this is just a red herring. We're getting faked out. But
what if she's probably Firestar?
There's also Firestar. I wouldn't mind her being Firestar. I love me some Angelica. But again, you got to just be ready for all possibilities. If she really is Jean, and like this is the start of the mutants coming through, and not the mutants, because we've had a lot of mutants in the MCU, but the X-Men specifically starting to really make their appearances in the MCU, then I guess we're here.
That is true. She's my guess. I think my guess is still Firestar. I think she is going to be Firestar because I could see them trying to do the whole, Spider-Man and his amazing friends kind of thing. And especially as they're slowly introducing mutants into things and we're getting to going towards a mutant saga, I could totally see them making her Firestar. Jean would be such a wild thing.
Yeah. Jean would not excite me. Firestar would. But I like Firestar.
Y'all picked up on the shade. But yeah, I think there's been a lot of, build up or whatever towards Doomsday. I personally feel like I am going to enjoy Doomsday, but I think Secret Wars will be more enjoyable to me. And while I get people's complaints about, oh my gosh, they're just banking on nostalgia and they're just throwing the toys together. Personally, I love that. That's what the movies are for.
You do.
Let them throw the toys together and do that. Like, that's just fun. Let them do that.
You are very much like the general public when it comes to a lot of things. You'll be like, it's cool.
Yeah. Just have a good, sometimes it's okay to just have a good time. Like, damn.
I honestly don't know how I feel about the movies right now. Like, I feel like the MCU as a whole has kind of just been in like a flux. I feel like when the MCU first started back in the day, we would talk about it like very confidently. Like there was just kind of no doubt in our mind that like, oh, this is going to be a good project. We're really going to enjoy it. I don't necessarily feel like the last few years has still had a lot of that momentum, and it's a lot more up and down. So I'll say that the whole like hodgepodge of like all the variants and all of that stuff coming together, that doesn't really excite me. I feel like we've kind of seen that being done in a lot of other stuff already. But I think I am excited just to see like what the next phase of the MCU looks like once all of this is done. Like, where are we truly going to go? And I think that's something where, as for the last few years, we've always kind of had an idea or some type of theory or inclination, like, oh, we're going to get to these characters, or we're going to get to this space, or we're going to build to this villain in that way. And like now it's like, okay, once these two are done, I really just don't know what we're going to do. And I also feel like they've announced so many things like in the background and behind the scenes, and it's just like we can really go any direction. So I like do look forward to seeing that.
Yeah. so much of this has been like a speculation that I'm just excited to get to that point to see what's after. We have had all of this been built on like the Avengers, like the MCU was built on those like original 6, 7 Avengers.
Yeah.
But once we get past Secret Wars, all those actors are going to be well out of this at that point.
They're over it.
But
They've been over it.
Right. Unless the check clears. Now they'll come back for the check.
All right, Joe.
Okay. She has no problem coming back for the check. Sued them, but came right back for the check. And, you know, I personally feel like it'll be interesting to see how this world will look if they continue to build it off of those Avengers. Like, are we going to recast the Iron Mans and the Black Widow and everything like that? Or are we just going to just build from what we have now and go forward? Are we getting new trilogies of Iron Man movies? And
oh gosh, gagging with a spoon. I also am like curious to see how the new trajectory of the movies will affect the comics. I don't think it is a secret to anyone who is an active reader that the MCU feels like it holds a lot of sway over the things that we're reading from Marvel Publishing right now. I think that can sometimes be a benefit and a hindrance. I think when it's like C, D, E-list characters and they get a little boost. I was on Marvel Unlimited the other day and I saw a Doorman Infinity comic. Like,
okay. Okay.
Like, when is that going to ever happen again? And, you know, and they officially, and it was a thing that Doorman, his face had never been seen in the comics. He officially, like, took his mask off. He was a black man. His name was, like, it was like, oh, okay. This is what that synergy does in a positive way. But then I think on the other hand of it, you have stuff where it's like, then the comics feel like it's only beholden to those characters that are in the movies at that time. And then, again, a lot of those movies, this is a movie that is like a year out, and then you probably won't see it again for another 4 years. However, this comic character is going to be a constant presence. And it's like, if you're just kind of keeping them at this stalled state until they're doing their next thing in the MCU, then it's like, okay, now you're just giving me nothing for real. So,
Sam Wilson, Captain America, they be playing in his face. I've noticed that.
I've noticed. All the time. And then even so, on the other side of it, you'll have characters who like get the synergy, and the synergy of the timing of the movie or show or whatever doesn't match the comic. What was the Agatha Witch's Road happened, however long ago. Wiccan was a big part of it. His comic just started in December, and it's still only 5 issues.
Right. Right. And it's called The Witch's Road, like, but we've been off that now, I guess, right?
We've been off that. A year ago. Like, what are you talking about? So I do hope that however it continues, if there's not really going to be like a separation of how it's controlling it, then it's just like better managed so we can get like better outputs. Because I'm a comic reader, you know, I think I'll always be a comic book reader, and I like to enjoy them and like experience the world that they live in, see all the different characters. And it's just like, damn, every time I pick up a book, it's just Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, and I don't know, whoever the current MCU character of the week is. Doorman.
That's literally it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just like, no, like, you got a Quasar over there up in space that you can use. You got a Blue Marvel somewhere crossing the dimension you can give for 5 issues to. You got a White Tiger. Like, you have things and characters to use. Like, we can use them. We don't have to just wait for them to show up in a movie. We should be seeing them now, so you actually have a reason to make a movie about them.
It should be that way, but unfortunately, we've been going the other way around. I've always wondered if that was because Feige took over control of the comic section. I think they all report up to him. So if the person you're reporting to is also the one who do the Marvel movies, you probably feel like you got to do what he wants to see.
And that's where somebody like me, a person who has a problem with authority, will come in and be like, yeah, we got to change this. Like, what you telling us to do ain't making sense. But like, I think that's just something that I've been really curious about. Because especially with Marvel in general, because I think their comic output has, from what I can see in the spaces and the discussions, a lot of people aren't really happy. And it's just a very interesting turn where it's like DC is having a huge year, especially with like the absolute books and like really getting back to getting people to come and buy their books. And it's like the opposite is happening on the other side. But also DC had like a really rough film time and Marvel's was better. So
they had a really rough time over there. How do you feel about any of the other like projects coming out from on the Marvel side? As far as Daredevil, they just dropped their season 2 trailer recently. Well, no, it's not a trailer. It's supposed to be like a teaser for the new season, which comes out in March. Obviously, we'll be watching that too when it comes out. They have that coming. X-Men 97 season 2 is coming also later on. How do you feel about their current slate of things?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm fine. I'm a huge Daredevil guy. I really love the Netflix series. I was super excited when Born Again got announced. I did not like that season whatsoever. It like dragged on for me. I didn't like a lot of the characterization. I didn't really like the story. It just wasn't for me. So like when they said, oh, like season 2 is coming, and they had already announced season 2 a long time ago, but like seeing the teaser, I still was just kind of like, eh. Of course, I'm probably still going to watch it. Hopefully, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, see if it gets better. I feel like Born Again, it like didn't even rate on Nielsen. I feel like it wasn't. The people weren't feeling it. The people weren't feeling it. So I'm like hoping that they maybe took a little bit of that to rework season 2. X-Men 97. I think we said this when the show first aired. X-Men 97, I thought, was a really well-crafted, well-written, well-animated show. It was just all of the storylines they did were storylines that I recognized from the comics as ones that I hated. But the second season seems like it's going to do more stories that I like. So I'm excited for it for that.
That's because my green girl is there. Just saying.
Oh, she is there, isn't she? I was more so talking about the Age of Apocalypse, but... yeah, it'd be nice.
Not too much. Not too much.
It'll be nice to see her too. That'll be cool. And then that man is gone, so I'm interested to see what the show is like without his influence.
I will say, people. So if you follow me on Instagram or mostly Instagram, because they took I've never really posted on Twitter because they take a lot of that stuff down. But if you followed me on Instagram, you saw I went to D23 and they showed us the preview for X-Men 97 season 2. Gagged. I literally did scream in the middle of this presentation. They took everybody. They wouldn't let everybody see their phones. They told us that security was walking around, making sure no one could see anything. And when Lorna appeared on the screen, I did scream. I was like, oh my God.
I would have took my phone out.
But then that was at D23. Then at the following, I think it was New York Comic Con or something like that. There was more footage shown, and it was completely different from what they showed me. Like the characters were actually in different costumes and everything. So I am wondering if they maybe changed some stuff around. For example, when I saw the trailer, Jean was in her new X-Men suit, the one with the long trench coat, right? She was in that, and she made these Wolverine claws. Now, when the version that they put out that they did not care about anyone taking down, she was in the X jacket instead, the yellow jacket across the, which I thought was interesting that they're kind of changing production and stuff and kind of moving things forward and maybe making things their own.
I'm excited for that, if only for the fact that it will finally, hopefully, move people away from the thinking that the X-Men 97, that the 90 suits are the only ones that the X-Men have. I feel like, obviously, those have been the ones that were most popular, so we see them all the time. But I genuinely feel like people think those are the only suits that the X-Men have. And it's we need to really change that. Because... we can't keep going back to the 90s for costumes. There have been other good costumes. I promise you.
Absolutely.
I promise
Absolutely.
you.
They have other hits. Okay.
Lots of them.
Well, they have other hits.
Storm has tons of costumes. She's been wearing them. If you've been reading the Storm series, you saw her go through quite a few costumes. And trust me,
yes,
all of them were better than the 90s fit. And I like the 90s.
Absolutely agree. Hard agree. I mean, one of my favorite ones is still going to be her OG, her first one with the two-piece and the Pretty Woman buckle in the middle. That's hot with the boots.
The Beyonce
sorry,
is also very similar to that. The white one, but I'm sorry, it's hot.
I do not see it for that one. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. Although I have recently come back around to liking Storm in white. I used to really prefer her not to be in white costumes. I just preferred her other suits better, but her Eternal Storm suit is hot. Like that one was really cool. And the other one, I don't know what it's called. It's basically just like an updated version of her 90s suit when she's got the lightning bolt on the front. She's got her tiara's golden instead of black.
Yeah. That was good too. Yeah, no, I always love Storm the White. That's hot. And everyone also make sure you're reading Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant #1. That issue came out this week. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be talking about that later, I'm sure. But shout out to Storm. It's going to be interesting to see a lot of those characters too in live action, specifically the X-Men, because at that point, it had been 25, 30 years since the last X-Men movie, and CGI and all that stuff has increased by so much.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm anxious about the X-Men. I think obviously it's a property that we've grown up with, that we love and care about, and I think it's going to be cool to see it again. Hopefully, they're not doing the same stories that we've already seen. But I don't think I'm ready for the discourse that we are going to experience online. And not even just online. I'm pretty sure that'll seep into real life and just media news outlets and just anything. I think about the stuff that was going on during X-Men '97 and the way people were acting there and just talking and just being crazy about mutants. People can't be normal about the mutants for some reason, and I just don't understand it. But I feel once they hit that live action, it's just going to be even worse because we're getting fully into the mutant saga. That Storm casting alone is going to cause ruckus. If it is not what people want, if she even has a speck of light skin in her melanin, they are not going to let that rock, okay? And then it's just if she's not, and then you gotta think about is she gonna be tall enough? She's gonna be just Storm alone. The casting is a lot. So then you just start putting in all the other mutants and just what the X-Men represent to people, how a lot of people look at them as a metaphor for, LGBTQIA+, disabilities, just any of those type of marginalized groups, and wanting that scene. It's going to be a lot. And it's just I kind of just want people to brace themselves and just be ready to enjoy it and just take it as it is. I'm pretty sure the first few times it might not be what you want. It might not be exactly what you need, but it's we got to give things time to build. And I don't know if this is terrible, then lash the MCU away, because guarantee I will be doing the same. But you just got to brace yourself.
I liked the Thunderbolts. It wasn't amazing, but maybe the X-Men version of that would be. As a reminder, everyone, the director of Thunderbolts will be doing the X-Men. I forget his name. Jason? Yeah. He will be doing the X-Men.
I also wonder if, you say, maybe the X-Men version of that will be good. I also think that there is a curve that people tend to throw mutant related projects sometimes. And so I'm interested to see if that also holds true. Maybe it will be mid and everyone's still gonna be no, it was really great. Or maybe it'll actually just be a great version. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to be ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Batty Blossom.
I'll be send it to the Grammys. So yeah, I'm excited for a few of the things coming out specifically this year. Mostly X-Men 97. My favorite thing has already come out. We'll be talking about this show later, but X-Men 97 is definitely on my radar. Doomsday at the end of the year, I'll definitely check out, but I don't know. I feel like I'm going to like it, but I think I'm going to probably really like Secret Wars more. But we'll see. On the other side of the fence, we have DC. Now, we did not talk about a lot of the things DC has done because we were off the air. However, they haven't done much since. So,
well, they had Superman. And
that's it.
Oh gosh, was that really it? There wasn't anything else?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess Supergirl was coming. Oh, because it was like Flash and all that stuff, and that was the end of it. And then Superman, and now Supergirl's coming. But it's going to have Lobo in it. So it's like any interest I did have has already been lost. And Lobo is being played by Jason Momoa, double homicides. Sorry to any fans of it.
Yeah. So I guess we already know how you feel about the DC universe, then, you know?
I also
go further into that. What you really thinking?
I'm sorry. I am not the biggest James Gunn fan. I'll be perfectly honest with you. And I feel like a lot of his work is kind of like the same thing in different fonts. And I just don't know. And it's like, I just don't know.
Every movie is The Guardians.
And it's just like, I just don't know. Like, I feel like, again, with DC, it's just like, I'll be cautiously optimistic. I'll brace myself for anything. I'll wait until something actually interesting seems to come forward. Right now, we're still like just in the Batman Superman world of what we always are.
You know, I have a few DC favorite characters. Static, Green Lantern, Apollo, Rocket. And that is the issue right there. Y'all know how I feel about Jon Stewart, and casting that light-skinned man with them green eyes already let me know what was up.
That was nasty. I'm an Aaron Pierre fan, and I just had to.
I couldn't believe it.
Burn too many bridges. I can't do nothing for you. I'm sorry.
That was like, oh wow. That to me let me know this is what the universe was going to be from here on out. Like, got it. And to be honest, wasn't wrong. Look at Supergirl.
I mean,
I never read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, so I could be completely off, but the movie version of this doesn't look very interesting.
Well, I do know the Woman of Tomorrow book was like really popular. I have a friend who read it and he like was into it, but he is also an artist and he really loved Bilquis Evely's art. So like that could have been mostly it because he does not like Tom King. So
right. War criminal.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You could really do anything in this world if you're a white man. That's wild. Anyway, I do think that, I don't know, the art in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow did look very interesting. And I felt like that kind of what made people like the series in addition to whatever story was being told there. But the movie didn't really translate that like art style, that vibe of being this big cosmic, adventure for this, for Supergirl. It just looked like a random, like James Gunn movie. Like, I don't know. And then Lobo appears.
And it's just like, and I feel like they're going to do one of those things where like, he's going to be the star of the movie. And Absolutely. It's like, it's a Supergirl movie, but like we're focusing so much on Lobo and Lobo's getting all the screen time. It's like, why are we doing this? But whatever. That is what, I don't know. I think DC fans like that. So.
I'm not really sure. Superman didn't do that well at the box office. It did like, okay.
I mean, I thought the movie was just okay. And two things about that Superman. Too. I will say Rachel Brosnahan was an amazing Lois. Like, ate that. The DCU does not deserve her, and may the comic gods protect her because the DCU fans are nasty. Then on the second hand of that, I have come to terms with the fact that I don't like the modern day Lex interpretation of like the really hyperactive, aggressive tech bro, like just kind of, I didn't like it when what's his name did it in BVS, Jesse Eisenberg. I did not like it when Nick Holt did it in Superman. And I just like realized, I was like, I just don't think that is and I don't know, maybe it's because like I am too stuck in my old interpretations of Lex from like the Superman cartoons and like things that I've seen Smallville. Like I see like stoic, cold, kind of like that vibe.
More business calculating cold man than like a young tech bro who's got an attitude.
Yeah, like I can't, I'm not able to like get the two. And I feel like this tech bro thing hasn't really grabbed me. So I've just kind of like stepped away from this. Like if that's what Lex is going to be, like, okay, maybe I don't actually want to see Lex anytime soon.
That's feeling like that's how a lot of these DC projects are coming because they've announced so many things coming. I also feel like they don't know exactly what they wanted to do until recently, what they wanted to do with Batman, because the Batman was fairly successful in its own right, but it was with, it was supposed to be in its own separate universe, right?
Yeah.
They had never announced who was going to be the Batman in the main universe because they already had a Batman. They felt like fans were going to get confused. Most people just assumed that eventually they were just going to just say, that is our Batman. Like
as it should.
It is whatever, just move on. But they most recently have announced that Batman the Brave and the Bold, which will be the main universe Batman, does have a writer now. I am... Allegedly, there were rumors that people thought that the Batman in our universe was going to be quote unquote dead, and that in Batman the Brave and the Bold, it would be like Nightwing and some of the Robins basically putting on a front that Batman isn't gone and, he's working with Robin or whatever. To basically kind of mirror that whole era when Nightwing was Batman and he was working with Damian. Again, that to me sounds like you just really want to have your cake and eat it too, because you want to use the Batman that you already have, and you're kind of like working around that, even though these movies should not be in the same universe because of the way that they were written and the stories that they have. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but
and honestly, it would be fine if you just did the multiverse thing. DC is all about like alternate Earths and like realities and Earth 2 and 3 and 6 and whatever. Like, if that's what you're gonna do, just do it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. You don't have to run from that. That's like where y'all kind of live, to be honest. Oh, it will be directed by Andy Muschietti, who did The Flash, and it'll be written by Christina Hodson, who did Birds of Prey and Bumblebee.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Sure. Yeah. DC, you'll figure it out one day, I'm sure. In gaming, there have been a lot of things going on there. DC still can't catch a break. They had some games that had ended up flopping. There was the Arkham beat 'em up game that ended up closing down. But on the other side of the fence, we've got Marvel, who's got the Wolverine game coming out. Very excited for that. That'll be really cool. They've basically, in my opinion, just kind of ignored the leak. Like, a lot of that game leaked out, and there was, in my opinion, it was a lot. Like, a lot of the game.
It was like a few threads, but I think that just got people more excited. I know I did, because I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely playing this game. Me too. That's all it said to me. And I feel like they realized that, and so that's why they were just like, oh, okay. Like, you still gonna play it.
Yeah.
It's like, you're right.
Yeah. I definitely am. Of course, you even had Jean Grey fans being like, oh, Gina's in it, but like, she's not a omega level and doing everything. It was like, it's not her game. but she's going to be in the game. I'm excited for Wolverine for sure. I hope that this brings us more like video games. I don't hope that they take forever to do this, but I do hope that Marvel Games starts to.
I feel like they've kind of been like jumping up a lot. You know, of course, like Marvel Rivals has been the thing that's popped off NetEase, and then Cosmic
anybody
Invasion.
out there play Marvel Rivals, feel free to like reach out to me. I play that game a lot. I think I'm pretty decent.
I try to play it every now and again, but like I can't stand when they put me in a match of people that are losing, and then like if I leave that match, I'm getting penalized because that makes sense. You put me on something that was losing, that's nothing messing up my score. Well, whatever. Anyways, and then there's also Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I don't know if you've been playing that game. That's been really fun. I actually downloaded that and had a really good time with that. That's what needs to be added. If anyone from Marvel is listening, she's. Follows with the cosmic people sometimes.
They could have had Quasar in that book. I mean, in that game they should just had him in general. Like
they should do they should definitely expand it. Like we need to get back into like bonus content, expansion packs, of extra characters. Like let's bring
the DLC.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to see that Storm was included on that roster. Like they really were pushing her as like
she's Marvel's It Girl.
Cosmic character. I honestly like she's also like the It Girl, so that makes sense for her to be there.
She is Marvel's premier female character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's got it. Ain't it crazy that like right off like the bat, she had it? To be honest, like Storm has really been carrying the X-Men on her back since she was created, like since day one.
Especially once Claremont got there, he was like, oh, clearly this is my favorite character. A black woman.
And like, he got to her pretty quickly. Like, sure, he did not write that giant-sized issue, but like, literally from that giant-sized issue, she was already like about to be the one. And then he got it right after that.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for more what they will do in gaming and everything there. Now, moving on over into comics and everything that's been announced, I am wondering when will Marvel lean back into the ongoing game? There has been about 10 different minis that have been announced recently. Some that started off that way, others that were initially announced as an ongoing and then changed into a 5-issue miniseries. And it seems as though Marvel has really just not really been that interested in announcing ongoing comics, whereas DC will let a book continue to go as long as it can, sell a certain amount. And especially if fans show that they can really support a book and really come out and buy the book. Look at Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy was almost at 50 issues. It was supposed to only be a 6-issue mini.
Yeah, I remember. Way to work. That's how you do it. But again, I think that kind of like goes back to what I was saying earlier with like the MCU dictating the comics and like how they interact. I feel like people are putting out 5-issue miniseries because the movie comes out this month and it's probably only going to be in the theaters for like 3 of the months. And so you're going to kind of give that character a story that coincides with the movie. And then you're not going to see them again for 2 years. And so we'll get another mini in 2 years. But it would be great if they could like kind of go back to just letting comics be long form. I think about something like Moon Knight. Moon Knight definitely could have had this current issue iteration written by Jed McKay that's had Alessandro Cappuccio and Devmala Promanik on art and Nick Carbone on art, all of these great people who have been doing things. And like, it reminds me of like how you used to be, it reminds me of how it used to be when we would read a comic book. Like you get this book and you discover new artists, and then the new artists would be great. And then the characters can like go on their journey. They can go on their arc. You have your supporting characters that get introduced and like you actually care about them and they do their own things. And it's like, instead of just letting this book get to 50 issues, it gets to 33 and then they relaunch it with a new number 1. And then that one goes to 4 issues and then they relaunch that with another new number 1. That one makes it to 10 issues. And then we relaunch that one with the new number 1. And the thing is, all of these new number 1s have the exact same creative team. It is just like, why are we not? And it's all following the same story. It's all the same thing. Why are we just not letting it go? It just doesn't feel right. And I feel like that is what tends to turn a lot of people off from comic books sometimes, because it's like, here I am reading this story, and it's like you end it, and like people who might not be familiar with it, they'll see just a bunch of new number ones. Are these all connected? Do I have to keep reading all of them? Oh, I don't want to read all of them. I just want to get into this one. And it's just kind of like this thing. It's a back and forth, but I don't know. I guess they got to sell the variants. So, but
they got to sell those variants. Variants and collectors are the ones who buy the books.
The collectors just need the new number one. It's shiny. It's big. But I don't know. I don't think to answer your question, I don't think they'll be back into like full long-term ongoings anytime soon. Or maybe they will. Maybe the success that DC's been having and like the absolute universes and how that's been going on will kind of like put a fire in their pants and make them want to compete in a way that they haven't been competing lately.
You would think so. We're definitely going to have to bring a creator or something out there to come on and talk to us about this. But like, you would think that they would want to be able to compete with that competition. But, you know, they saw this list of all the top selling books from last year. Mind you, 90% of them were Batman. It was all Batman. And you would think that will make them go, oh, well, maybe we could compete with this. But instead, they just want to announce more minis and
flashback minis.
I don't know. Yeah.
Read Psylocke Ninja.
Come on, promo. And on that note, let's just go ahead and take a break. All right, everybody, welcome back to the comic portion of the show. And this week, we are going to be talking about the comics that we've been reading. So, you know, I have had to adjust to my pull list, you know. It's been a while, y'all, since we've checked in here on the comics, and the comic landscape has changed, to say the least. And I have had to adjust my pull list, but we will be talking about some of the books that have been coming out. Some of the books on my list aren't necessarily new this past week, but they are more recent, I guess you could say. But to kick it off, I will go ahead and talk about one book. I'm not sure if you read this or not, but Batman Beyond and Static #1. And that is by Evan Narcisse and Nicholas Draper Ivy. And I love the issue. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Obviously everybody knows I'm a huge Static fan. Easily my favorite DC character. Now he will be a DC character. We'll be talking about that later when the Dakota incident comes out. But for right now, this issue is about Virgil, and I believe he's like 30 or something. Like, he's much older. It's supposed to be him. He's in the Batman Beyond verse, I guess you could call it. He's much older. He's got longer locks, kind of like myself. And he is more powerful, full-fledged superhero. From what we see in the issue, he talks about basically like he isn't I'm on the patrol and doing all that kind of superhero stuff, but he still has powers and he still does some stuff. We do get a recap of him, basically them saying, he went through the whole stuff with Static and got the Q juice and all that good stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed the issue. The issue opens up with Static talking about how, things have been changing in this, it's Neo Gotham, where Batman Terry McGinnis is from. They basically want to prepare Earth to potentially be a part of the cooperative. Mm-hmm. Now, I know y'all have heard the word cooperative before. If you watched Young Justice, the cooperative is supposed to be this, basically, think of the Shi'ar. Right? It's from the X-Men, or a lot of big cosmic things. It's usually there usually are like a big cosmic like collective of planets and they work together, or sometimes they're good, sometimes they're evil. And the cooperative is a similar kind of thing. If you know about Icon, of like Rocket and Icon comes from a cooperative planet. So like the co-op is like they all work together, whatever. So this story is about Static and the Justice League of the Batman Beyond verse, basically preparing Earth to be a part of the cooperative. Now they are showing off this new jet that, I didn't call it like a jet, like an aircraft, spaceship that a Static worked on called the Shockwave. And basically they're kind of showing it off to the cooperative. Like, look, we are like, advanced people, like accept us in here. That's all that stuff's going on out in space. Meanwhile, back on Earth, there is this like protest going on. And I didn't realize this on my first read, but I read it again. And then I realized that this is basically just them redoing Static's origin. I didn't realize it until after I read it the second time, where so they've done all that stuff in space. Static is back on Earth. Terry is, in school, I guess, still. So I guess, is Static older than Terry, I guess? Because Terry's still in school.
Maybe like a PhD.
I don't really know if like school changed or like, yeah, he could be getting a PhD, I guess. They didn't really say, but he's in school studying for stuff. And there is a protest because there is going to be this new thing called this like quantum energy, which is based off of the Q juice from the Static Milestone world. They're basically using this to like, it's like this big MacGuffin of power. Basically, it was going to be powering up a lot of this thing, a lot of tech in this new world. Some people are against it. Some people are for it. Static is for it. Other people are. It seems to be that most people are for it, but there are some people who are like, I'm not really feeling this thing. It's the energy is bad for us. We shouldn't be doing this. There's a protest, and this kid who, I don't think he's going to be a villain, but I do think he's going to get powers. He is against this Q juice and everything. He rushes home to see his parents who have been like working in the machine. He's basically anti like working for the man and being in the machine. He wants to connect with his parents, but his parents are stuck at work. They're like, literally, he rushes home to beat the clock on their like mandatory sleep cycle because they literally are just like drones. And by the time he gets there, it's too late. Mm-hmm. They've like just entered this like sleep cycle. It's kind of sad. He really wants to connect with his parents. We do see Static, and he's much older. He's got a wife now. And it's not Frida, which shout out to that. Frida was the white girl in his books who like, in his other DC stuff, he ended up like being with, but in this one, he's not. And they didn't say who his wife was, but they got a kid. It's super cute.
That's nice.
Yeah, so like Static's been helping out. Like Dakota in itself is like a very cool looking city. It's this place where Static was helping out. They've shown that it's like kind of an equivalent to Neo Gotham,
Dakota,
where it's Neo Gotham is out there doing that. Yeah. Oh yeah, we just talking about. Yeah, that's crazy. And some stuff goes on. There's a whole protest when they're going to be basically letting the Q juice or whatever out to light up the city and basically energize the city. There's a big protest there. An explosion happens. The kid who we saw earlier, he gets caught in the explosion. There's some like energy crackling on his skin. Clearly, we might see something happening there. Very similar to Static's origin. So I'm interested to see what kind of goes on there. Yeah, very big baggish. I'm interested to see what's going on there. I really enjoyed the issue. The art really felt great. It was kind of cool to see the characters again in this Batman Beyond universe. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not the biggest Batman fan. So like I did have to fake my interest here.
You don't like Terry?
For Batman Beyond, because why would I like Terry?
Because he's the GOAT. Sorry. You get it.
Yikes.
Batman Beyond?
I'm sorry.
That's hot.
Outside of those episodes when Static was there, didn't really care. Sorry, y'all. I don't really get down too much in the Batman corner that well, which is crazy because my dad always tells this story about when I was a kid. I had this like big Batman action figure. He was like very big, and he had this cape that was like actual cloth. Like he was this hard toy, but the cape was cloth. I used to like run around and like make him fly and stuff. And like my dad says all the time how I would not do anything without my Batman toy. But little did he know, I was making him fly. I gave him powers. So, hello, I wasn't really that big of a fan. I had to give him something. But overall, I really enjoyed the issue. Like I said, the art was great. The writing was fantastic. I really loved everyone's voice in this. Overall, I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5. I'm really interested to see what goes on in issue 2. And kind of this whole miniseries is leading up to kind of what we might see with Static as he is entering the DC universe. I've noticed that there's been some previews out there of Static and Titans. I hope he isn't locked in the dungeon with them losers, but I hope that he's
kind of
able to like make it out of there. They showed him
already anyway. It doesn't really matter because he's stuck as a teenager.
I know. But I'm hoping that he isn't stuck there. The artist who drew Static in this like Titans thing said, pay attention to his locks. And he's got much longer locks than he did in his Earth M series. And they are very reminiscent to what he has currently in this Batman Beyond Static book. So I'm not sure if they're trying to say that like, oh, this is just Static coming over into the DC universe, or if they're also trying to say that he's a little bit older. I'm hoping it's both.
We'll see.
But we'll see. Either way, great issue. I will be there for this entire miniseries.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I won't lie. I did actually read the first issue. It was on DC Infinite. And so I picked it up. I was just curious. I thought it was a really good issue. And I did think it was really interesting to see Static older. I think that is something that has kind of hindered the character over the last few years. Every time they try and do like these milestone reboots, they always kind of just revert back to telling his origin and like him getting the powers again. I think it would be a little bit better for him to be a little bit older, kind of maybe in the like early 20s, if like 21, 22 type situation. Just to like,
he needs to have graduated college at least.
Yeah, just to like kind of move his story forward so you can keep that momentum that this future one gives him. But it was good. It was cool to see. And like, again, it was like cool because we got to see him use his powers in ways that we never get to see. And that was because he was afforded the ability to age and like grow and like do all these things. So it was just like, yeah, this is like an amoosh boosh.
Flying with no disc.
We could do.
Love that.
So yeah, that was cool. It's good.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And up next, we have Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant #1. Now, I will admit, y'all, I have it. I just didn't read it yet. So I will, what's happening for Storm.
Well, I'll go ahead and talk about it because
although I didn't read Rogue Storm, I'll admit I didn't read Rogue Storm.
I can talk about.
How much of that will I need to read before this?
None, honestly. So I kind of separate that in because the first issue of Rogue Storm actually just dropped on Marvel Unlimited. So I actually just read that like 2 weeks ago. But Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant #1. Now, if you have been following, you know that this is a continuation of Storm's first series, Storm, written by Murera Ayodele. That last series had art by Lucas Wernick. This current one has Frederica Manson, and it has colors by Java Tartaglia. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong, Java. I will say that just, quick aside, the very first series of Storm, that was like a big deal for her. It was kind of like her really big.
I read that.
So it was like her big first solo outing as a hero. It kind of marked that Marvel is really trying to move forward with pushing her as like their premier woman, their premier X-Men.
A solo character.
We know that this also caused her to join the Avengers a little bit later. She's been getting this really huge push, and like Mightiest Mutant is the continuation of that. Now with the first solo series, I liked it. I did have some issues with it. I felt like a lot of it really relied heavily on the art and the splash pages and to be this beautiful thing. And it was a beautiful book. But one of the things for me that I always say about comics is that I like to read. I am very much aware that there are going to be words in it and that I'm going to have to read them and I'm going to have to understand that like I'm getting into the mindset of these characters, and I am perfectly okay with that. I like to read. I felt like a lot of times the Storm series would kind of skip over that like inner thought and that monologue, and it would rely too much on the pages. But the second half of it, where it tried to kind of like turn that on its head and really get back into the words and like the mindset, I feel like at that point the series was ending, so it tried to like rush it in, and at that point it just caused the series to go be on the like up and down throughout the entire time. Liked it, but it had its high moments and it had its low moments. I will say with Earth's Mightiest Mutants, I don't feel a lot of those issues. I think the biggest thing that Bob, and I'll actually just talk about the book first. So the story starts, it gives a little recap of what happened in the previous issues with Storm. She was overtaken by a cosmic entity, Eternity, using her body to go to war with their sibling. It was a big thing. If you're not into like cosmic entities in space, it might not have been for you. But then on the other side of that, she was also doing things like being a superhero, saving people. She was also involved in something called the Thunder War, where a bunch of thunder gods came out to attack her. That was very hot. And this is kind of,
that was so cool.
Kind of following up directly off of that. So when she was fighting the Thunder Gods, she was able to trap a few of them. And one of them has basically been like, I am going to destroy your planet if you don't kill me because like I failed. So he has like set this planet Rage, which is Ego's cousin. Ego, the living planet, is his cousin, on a collision course with Earth. And he's like, if you don't kill me, Storm, I'm going to destroy everyone. Knowing that Storm, trying to be this person who doesn't kill and murder, is going to actually kill and murder him once he tries to do this. But she's created a plan where she's going to use her fellow Avengers to trap him. Now, while this is all going on, something's happening like on the magic side of things. People's phones seem to, or technology itself seems to be like glitching in some type of way. And there are people being attacked and killed, and Wanda is sent to investigate this, and she feels
this is gonna go
wild. She always comes to messing something up. But so that's kind of the B plot that's going on. Now, while Storm is dealing with these storm gods and things like that, there's this one character named Aquagen. Now, Aquagen, she appeared in Rogue Storm. For those who don't know, Rogue Storm is a tie-in story to the Age of Revelation storyline, which was happening in the X-Men comic books. It was Doug Ramsey's Cypher. He was the heir of Apocalypse, and he was basically using his newfound abilities and influence to reimagine the world. In his liking, mutants were in charge. They moved to Philadelphia for some reason. It was very Krakoa-like for a lot of people. And through that, like a lot of things that had happened, and it was like a future storyline. So in Rogue Storm, Storm had basically like kind of given up the use of her power. She had gone a little bit crazy. She had been using dark magic, and she was going against this creature named Egan, who also appeared in her main series. And
that was cool.
It was very cool. And so like,
that was
again, I only read
this is when Voodoo helped her, right?
Yeah, that was when Voodoo helped her. He showed up in this. Now, again, Rogue Storm was only on issue 1, so I only read issue 1 on Marvel Unlimited. But like in this one, we kind of see that there's this new Uncanny X-Force team that's been led by Rogue. There are apparently 2 Rogues in the Age of Revelation. There was a lot going on. And this Rogue is leading this team to go and kill Storm, who is freezing the world. Aquagen is on this team. She has 6 arms. She has these marks on her face. She has black hair. Had no idea who this chick was. I thought she was like a Spiral stand-in. Earth's Mightiest Mutant, #1, in France, they're under attack. And there's this hero of France. She's got her kids. She's trying to hide them. She's like, don't you guys worry. I've called a storm sanctuary so we can get Storm to come and help us. She's the greatest hero. This woman gets attacked by these beings, these monsters. They kind of kill her. She has like a scream power. I'm curious to see if we see her pop back up, because they have a moment with her and the kids and Storm that seems kind of poignant. And it's just like making me feel like we haven't seen the last of them. But nonetheless, like she's fighting these monsters off. While she's fighting these monsters off, Storm appears, and here's Aquagen that we're now meeting in the present that we met in that future of Rogue Storm. She is the war general for Susanu, who is one of the thunder gods that attacked Storm. And she's basically like, you have my boss in prison. You need to free him. And if you don't, me and my monsters are going to destroy like a city around the world every 5 days. Now, mind you, Storm has been fighting all of these monsters. She's thinking she's winning. She's thinking she's knocking stuff out. Akujin's looking at her. She gives a quick pause. She's like, and you know what? You might want to be able to learn how to look through illusion magic. And then she drops this illusion and it's just destruction everywhere. Monsters have killed people. The town is destroyed. The big hero woman who called Storm, she is dead. As she's dying, she's like, oh my God, Storm, I've always wanted to meet you. Storm is comforting her kids. She's like, your mom's dead. She fought bravely. The little boy is telling her, he's like, I told my sister that my mom would be okay. And like, I knew that was a lie. I knew she was going to die. He's like, you're saying this. You don't actually care. Like, you are just Storm, and even Storm lies. And it's like this big moment for her. She's feeling like she's failed.
I bet that gag
like bad. She's like, we see her later in her shower. She's crying. She's talking about failing. She's thinking about all the things that happened. She's laying in bed in tears. And then like outside her window, there's creepy Wanda. Oh, Storm, what have you brought on us? And the issue ends. A really good issue. I feel like a big thing of like I was saying with the first series is that the art tried to do a lot of the heavy lifting. It was just like splash pages. We didn't really get much. I feel like Manson has a really good handle on the storytelling here. There are a lot more panels that feel compact, but it's like it still feels like there's a lot happening on the page, and that feels good. It feels like Storm is actually talking. We're moving the story forward, and there's a lot of momentum. The action is amazing. One thing I will always give this writer, he writes great action. Like, I would love to see him do like some type of Contest of Champions book where it's just like heroes fighting each other. Like, I think he would do really well with something like that. Meeting Akujin here was really good. It does bring me to the one thing that I think this book has a problem with, and that even consisted in the other one. The structuring of the issues isn't linear. There's a lot of jumping back and forth between the past, present, and the future. And I just don't think that always works the best in this title. It can often make the issues feel a little bit disjointed. And then sometimes like where we end off is obviously a different point from where we just like started or something like that. And it just changes the tone of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like, oh, I feel like if it ended here at this point, it could have been a little bit more poignant. You could have felt a little bit more of that intention in it, where it's like, oh, but no, we actually have to jump back to like watch Storm drink tea with this man that we already know she imprisoned and fought, like, because we saw that on the first 4 pages or something like that. And I just think it does that a little too frequently. It doesn't bother me all the time, but like every single issue. Okay, this is only the first one, so I can't really say it's going to continue to happen, but I just know it happened in the previous book, so I can only assume. But all of that aside, I really enjoyed the issue. I really enjoy what Marvel was trying to do with Storm and like push her forward, and I do hope that continues. I'm looking forward to a little bit more meat in this story as well. Like, I feel like, again, in the first one, that first half, she wasn't really talking about anything, or she wasn't really like letting us know how she felt. Like here, right out the gate, we're already getting into those emotions. We're already seeing the hurt. We're already seeing the frustration. We're already seeing the failure. And it's like that puts me on like a really good feeling for this title. Again, the art was fantastic. The colors were just like really good. I think it enhanced everything. The face acting, the expressions were on point. I'm not necessarily stoked about the B plot with Wanda. We'll see how that works out and what she does. She is the Sorcerer Supreme now, so congratulations to her. But that's where the issue ends.
Well, I feel like you can congratulate people if they want something. I think she took it. Right?
Well, I mean, kind of everyone takes it. Strange isn't really that good with it, so.
Yeah. I don't get down in the magic business, but it seemed like he never has that.
If
like,
there's one thing he's going to do, it's lose the Sorcerer Supreme title. But nonetheless, like, I thought it was a really good issue. I thought it was a really strong first issue. I'm looking forward to the rest. I have been told that this is an ongoing. However, at times it does seem like Marvel was only soliciting 5 issues, but I've heard that, again, like this is the new thing with Marvel. It's 5 issues at a time. So please go out and support, pre-order with your local comic book stores. If you want, you can write into Marvel. There's a nice little message at the end. It says, send your emails into OfficeX@marvel.com. Put the subject okay to print. If you want to potentially see it in a letters page, let them know that you want to see Storm. Also do the same for Psylocke Ninja. let them know that you like Betsy and that it was a great book, because it was. But Earth's Mightiest Mutant, I would give this like a 4 out of 5. I thought it was like a really strong issue. Like I said, I think the things that I didn't really like were just kind of carryover from the previous series. And I'm used to it. I just don't necessarily like care for it that much. So, but yeah, really strong start. I'm looking forward to the rest of this.
Okay, I'm definitely going to tap in. I was already planning on reading it, but you definitely made it sound like this is going to be really for me. I liked the first series. However, I didn't love the first series. There were a lot of times where I felt like you could have taken Storm out of it and put someone else in there and nothing would have changed. And I didn't really like that. Specifically, especially when it came to the cosmic stuff, which is wild because, like, hello, I'm Mr. Space.
Cosmic.
Like,
and I wasn't really like,
I love all that cosmic stuff. And shout out to the writer. I will definitely give them their credit because they showed Quasar Wendelwan twice in issues.
Well, I think he's a Quasar
confirming that he still exists. So, like, I think so, which makes sense. All these cosmic entities, it feels like a Quasar book. So, like, that makes sense, but shout out to him for confirming that he is still alive. That would be hot. However, again, like I said, I don't necessarily need Storm to be, doing all of that and doing all that cosmic kind of stuff. I know she's powerful. Like I don't need to have that proved to me. And again, when maybe it could be done in a better way, but in that first series, it really did feel like there would be pages and pages of the cosmic entities talking about cosmic entity stuff and not talking about Storm at all. So I wasn't really feeling that compared to the Thunder God stuff. Storm being a Thunder God is very reminiscent to me of like her Regent era. And I love that Storm. So like her being like the Thunder God of Earth, excuse me, and like, protector of Earth. That is cool. Very much. I want to see more of that for sure.
She is Earth's Mightiest Mutant, and it works.
Yeah. So if we're doing that in this little mini, I'll be there for that. I hope she gets another like ongoing after that. They let her do that.
They do. But yeah, I mean,
it's the same cycle.
I know, and I too had to like adjust my pull list a little bit, but this was one that I definitely knew was going to stay. And there are a lot of books that, as we continue, I'll talk about them. But this was one that I definitely felt as though I need to highlight. I want people to read it. Again, I get it. You might not have loved the first one, but you liked it enough. And I think everyone should kind of experience that. And I feel like Storm is a character that people kind of need to re-get to know. I feel like everyone has like the ideas about her or like just their general sense, like she's Storm, she's the Weather Witch, she's Mother, da 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 da. But like, I feel like people need to like remember, like Storm ain't your mama. She will kill you.
She's really not. Yeah. Yeah. And definitely next month I'll be bringing back the AR Club, so I'll be reading some of the old stuff to be adding to my pull list. If anybody got any suggestions out there, let me know what y'all want to read. But let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, welcome back to another relaunch. We're going to go ahead and get into the movie section of the show, and TV's a movie, and we are going to be talking about, of course, Wonder Man. Now, this week's episode is called...
Oh, is that it? I guess that's easier.
I mean, or you could throw up the West Side if you want to go.
Well, that's what I was doing, and this is your favorite character. I'll go with whatever you say.
I saw this really cool. I'm gonna give him his props. People know who Boss Logic is. He loads up that Photoshop as soon as the project comes out, and he did this really cool Wonder Man thing where he had the West Coast W, but it was Wonder Man's like wrist thing. Oh, that was really cool. But people have been throwing up the W like that. Okay. So either one works. This week, we'll be talking about episode 2 of Wonder Man. It's called Self-Tape. This one was also directed by Destin Creighton and written by Andrew Guest. Now, to me, this episode was a little bit weaker than the first episode because it was more, kind of more backstory on things that are going on in this world than anything else really with necessarily Simon and like Wonder Man, quote unquote. But it was still a solid episode in my opinion. So we open with Trevor. He's like flying back to LA. He's on this plane talking to this lady, talking about how like, oh my God, like I have the acting bug again. I'm gonna go back into acting. My mama used to believe in me. And she was like, oh, you were on this show called like something hospital. South Shore Hospital. And he, of course, was like, oh, yeah, I was like, that's totally fine. I was on this show. And there's this moment where you see Trevor kind of like be a little bit over it with him, where he's like, I can't believe you remember me from that show. Like there's some feelings about him being on that show. Personally, I thought this was a little bit of an Easter egg because the show was called South Shore Hospital, but in the comics, Wonder Man, Simon Williams was on a TV show called Secret Hospital. And he was a guest star on the show. And he didn't get too far on it. Actually, another fun Easter egg, which kind of brings it back to what we talked about earlier. There's the Marvel Cosmic game that we were talking about before. Mm-hmm. There's an Easter egg in that game also showing Mary Jane because she was also a guest on Secret Hospital. Secret Hospital was basically like the comic book version. It was like the comic book version of like General Hospital or like all those like soap operas that all the actors used to be on, like All My Children, Passion, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Most actors were on that show. And I thought this was like a kind of a nod to Secret Hospital in the comics. So he's telling this lady, oh my God, I used to be on the show. She's like, oh, I remember you from that. And there's this guy. She was like, oh, you were with Joe, I think Pantanelli, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And she's like, yeah, that was who I was with. He got off the plane. As soon as he gets to the airport, they tackle him onto the ground and arrest him. They arrest him. The Department of Damage Control puts all his footage on a camera in front of him, makes him basically rewatch the time when he was the Mandarin, show him killing somebody, shooting him in the head. And they're like, hey, your time wasn't up. Either you could serve your time and go back to jail or you could work for us. He quickly is like, I'll work for y'all. They want him to spy on Simon Williams. They originally were going to come up with a fake casting call, but Trevor was like, no, it's a small town. Yeah, like he's going to know. You got to be real. And they basically sent him that's how we find out that he went to the same Wonder Man audition that we saw in the first episode. But now we know that he was there under some different pretenses. So after he is arrested, Janelle tells Simon that she didn't really tell him that his Wonder Man audition went really, really well. He just is like, you wouldn't be calling me back about it if it didn't go really well. And she's like, she did say, the casting director did say there was some promise. Like, relax. She said there was some promise. But she does want you to go out for this other show, for this movie called The Carlisle. It's an indie movie, but she needs you to film a self-tape. Simon's like, all right, bet. I got this. He goes to his house. And this, again, just reminds me of all the stuff like going on in LA. It's just about like being in your apartment, trying to like create things in your own apartment. So you got your light camera set up somewhere and you got screens and everything. And since you're self-taping, you're reading your lines, but then you have to like tape and read them back to yourself. And he's just like overthinking things. And he rewatches some of his old self-tapes that he had done before with his now ex-girlfriend, Vivian, who is a nod in the comics. He did have a girlfriend named Alex Flores. She was, she had blonde hair, but her last name was Flores. So I thought she was like, I don't know, like a white Latina. But
they exist.
They do. And that was his girlfriend there. She was also in the industry similar to the show. They dated for a bit, except she was also a single mom. But then they ended up breaking up. So again, this is still pretty fairly comic accurate. He's looking at these old self-tapes of him filming stuff with her. He get emotional, frustrated. His powers activate. There's this explosion that we see. And some ionic energy glowing in his eyes. Things don't go too great. So Simon pretty much asks Trevor, like, will you help me with my self-tape? I know some other places we can go to do some stuff. Like, will you come in with me? They go to this place, which is crazy for me to see specifically because I was just there like a month ago getting my MacBook fixed in the exact same building. And I knew exactly the area that they went up to. And he went up there to go to the self-tape area with this lady who was like, it's crazy. Really, out in LA, there's a place for you to do pretty much anything. Somebody got a shop for you to, give them a quick $100 and they'll let you do whatever. And they're like little set up someplace. Someone's got something you can use. So we see him do that there. Then that doesn't really go well because that lady is awful. They go to Trevor's place. His place is noisy. That doesn't really work. Then they come right on back to Simon's place. They try to film there. And then Simon's like, hey, I'm going to order some pizza. He moves. Trevor is like, I'm going to plant some stuff in his computer because, of course, he's been spying on him this whole time. He's looking around. He's like, why does Simon have this big-ass sheet on his wall? Like, that doesn't make any sense. What's going on here? He, of course, I don't know why he pulled it all the way down and couldn't just take a quick peek
at it or something.
But it came down and of course Simon returns and sees him looking at it and they just kind of ignore it.
I want pepperoni.
He was like, do you want pepperoni on it? He's like, that's cool. And they just ignore it. Yeah. And that is the end of the episode there. And I thought that this one was interesting. Like I said before, a little bit weaker than the first episode to me, but you do get a lot more backstory on Trevor and like what kind of brought him over to LA, how he's really getting, into becoming a spy for the Department of Damage Control. It's more Trevor focused than
Simon. I agree with that. I do agree that I felt the issue was a little bit slower than the first one. I didn't dislike it though. I thought it was still really enjoyable. And I really love that it's such again, a heavy character piece and that you're feeling that bond between Trevor and Simon grow. And even they're just kind of going around trying to find places for him to do this tape. You see Trevor really getting into it too. No, we got to make this happen for you because he understands as an actor, how important it is. I thought the scene where they went to the place and the lady was recording him and so they could read the lines together. And then she was messing up because she couldn't read the lines. And she's like, we'll try and do it better next time. And he just kind of looks at her. I thought that was really great. Just those little nuggets that continue to make the show enjoyable and really kind of hit close to home. I think it was just good. I think they got two really great people to be in this show and portray these characters. I love to watch actors act like they're acting. If you get what I'm saying. When you're an actor in a show who's pretending to be an actor and you have to act and it's you got to act and then turn out that acting and turn it back on. It's just all these little switches and little nuances that you have to hit and they hit all of their marks all the time. And it's really great to see. So yes, a little bit slower, but I still enjoyed it. And Janelle continues to be a highlight. Super funny.
Okay. I did not know this, but, pardon my own ignorance here, but that Joe sorry, I mispronounced his name. Joe Pantoliano is a real person. He's a real actor.
Yes.
I just found that out right now because I was trying to find what his name was because I remember that they went to his place.
You saw all the things that he's done, all the work that he's
done. And I was it was oh, he's an American actor. And I was oh, he's not a MCU character? He'll be his real person? Oh, I did not know that.
That's why it was like extra funny the way he was talking to them.
Now it makes more
I also love like after like Simon and Trevor after Simon went off on him for Trevor and then they like left out, he just called his agent. He's like, why didn't you tell me there was a Wonder Man movie? Like, why am I not rooting for that? Like, I don't care about anything else because that's really how it will be.
I think.
Check that.
Okay, in my defense, everybody, I think I knew that he was an actor, like that actor. But I didn't know his name. So, like, they kept calling him Joe. I thought that was just like a fake name.
I was about to say, in his defense, he's not like super big movies, but you do live in LA, so it's kind of like...
Right. That's against it on me. That is my fault. But, like I said, I think I knew his face. That's why I knew that he was a famous person that they got for this part. I did not know that he was playing himself. I did not know that. That's funny because I like that in this moment, though, when they went to his place to film, to try to self-film, you see the relationship between Trevor and Simon grow because you see Simon stand up for Trevor.
It was really
because
nice. And it was like...
This Joe guy is like kind of being very rude and nasty, talking about like, oh, you know... He's like, I didn't take your role from you. And Trevor's like, you took my role. It's supposed to be me. And Joe was like, well, let's not forget that you were always like high and like you had all these drugs and all this kind of stuff. You were wild. And Simon's like, oh, not too much of my friend. Like, actually, he's going to be on Wonder Man. And I didn't think you were that great. I thought that was really awesome because you start to see him like really. One thing about Simon is he took some time to really grow into becoming a superhero, but he's not going to let you like disrespect his friends or the people he really cares about.
Quick question on the side. Do you think this friendship between Simon and Trevor is supposed to be a substitute for Simon and Beast? Or
yes,
do you
that's why his name is Barnaby.
So do you think that when the mutants come into the MCU, they're not going to do Beast and Simon?
Yeah. I think because of the timing of it all, I don't think that we will get Simon and Beast. Like had the X-Men also been starting now, I think they would have done Beast.
But you don't think like, I guess when the X-Men going to be here, like 5 years, 7 years?
That's what I'm saying.
Years?
It's 5. It's a while away. Actually, to be honest, it might be sooner than we think because Doomsday is this year.
I was about to say in Doomsday or Secret Wars, just have him and Kelsey Grammer as Beast do like a quick team.
Oh, wait. Oh, you meant like just any kind of like Wonder Man and Beast. Oh, well, no, you'll get that. You'll get that in Secret Wars.
Okay. But you don't think after that they'll be in...
And like they probably won't. They'll probably just be standing around each other and be in like, you know, Beast will probably say, "Well, my stars and garters" or something, and they'll like do a cool moment together. But as far as like their friendship and showing it and doing all of that, I think we missed it because the timing, it was just off.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I think that's why, like I said, I think that's why Barnaby being Wonder Man's like friend in this is, I think that should be Beast, but they would not have done. They can't really do that now because they're not really good. They hadn't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, true.
Although they could have had they wanted to like introduce the mutants. It could have been, but that would have been like a fast introduction, right? Could you imagine if this was Beast instead of Trevor?
Yes, actually, and I think
it was Beast walking down the street with him doing stuff, and it's LA, so people wouldn't care about him being Beast.
I think they wouldn't be able to do like full-on blue cat beast yet, but I think if they did like just kind of like bigger human beasts, they could like probably try to do that. And I could even see them like making jokes about like them thinking he has on prosthetics or he's supposed to be on like a movie set or like a mascot or something like that. I can see it working. They just didn't do it.
Do you think they could do practical effect beast? Or would you have to have been CGI?
I mean, I think they could do practical, but I think they would just do CGI.
CGI, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I personally don't really need the Wonder Man and Beast friendship to be in there. It's not that I dislike it. I just think it's run its course. Like, and I feel like too often when people bring up Wonder Man and Beast, it's to reminisce about them in the 80s, where, in my opinion, they should be talking about how their friendships and how they are now, instead of trying to
kind of grown apart.
Yes, which is fine. Sometimes friendships grow apart, but I think that should be the story that you tell, that sometimes friendships grow apart. We don't have to bring Beast back from the 80s so that we can get good Beast again, so that Wonder Man and Beast can be a thing again. Like, it's okay for them to just continue on and let Wonder Man have other friends.
Well, that seems to be like the common thing with Wonder Man, just kind of letting him move on from all of those past people.
That lady, yes. Yeah. It's the 80s, man. They want to bring it back.
We'll see. But all in all, I thought the episode was good. I did enjoy it. It's a good, really good show.
Yeah. What would you rate this episode out of 5?
I'd probably give this one a 3. Solid. Okay. Again, I think the bonding of Trevor and Simon does a lot of the heavy lifting here. I do agree it was a little bit slower, but I still really enjoyed what I did see of it.
Yeah, I agree. I would actually also give this a 3 out of 5. A little bit slower than the first episode, but still really well done. Great character work from all the actors and the writing and stuff. So still solid, but a little bit slower. The next episode, I am going to forewarn y'all now. When we talk about it, I am going to do our best not to cry. But, but I'm not going to hold you. This one was the one that
this is a safe space. So
thanks y'all. I really appreciate that. But this was the one that got me in my feelings, the next episode. But all right, y'all, let's go ahead and get up out of here. Thanks so much for listening. Yeah, I'm really excited. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, all the other places at Another Relaunch. Yes, we are also going to be on TikTok and everything there. You can find me, or you can also email us with any questions or whatever at anotherrelaunch@gmail.com. You can find me on most social media platforms at UncannyLZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You guys can also find me on most socials at Keenan Lance. There's still an underscore at the end.
Period. It's part of the brand now, baby. I know that's right. All right, y'all. We will see y'all next week. Let's get up out of here. Peace.